to the RTFG Podcast, your chill space at the start of the week. We are your hosts, JP, Freddie B, and yours truly, Boosie, the Big Bear. Join us as we discuss any and all topics, and I want you to remember this. Check that BS at though.
Man, bro. It's been a busy weekend in current events, hasn't it? Y'all been seeing everything happening on social media. Everybody talk about Will Smith and everything.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. Sad.
Man, I had a long, hard couple weeks right now. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It's been rough.
Agreed. Man, like I said, I know we usually get in our introduction, man, but like I said, I feel like this topic, man, about to be so hot. I don't even want to waste time on it right now. Like I said, bro, we're going to be hitting up cancel culture on today's episode. But as I said, man, let's talk about what happened with Will Smith out here in these streets, man. Booze, I know you got some feelings stirring, bro. Go ahead and look at
the whole situation with Will and Jada, it would have never happened if Jada ain't look at that man the way she looks at him. I'm pretty sure everybody done seen that clip. Will was laughing. Will was laughing hard until Jada looked at him. Jada looked at that man so hard. Look. Any man, if you sitting up here, when your girl give you the look that Jada gave Will, you got to go on ahead and do something. You can't sit there and do nothing. You got to. Now, I don't condone, this is what I'm going to say. I ain't mad at Will for what Will did. I just don't condone the setting in which Will did it. I feel like, if you was going to do that, you could do that backstage. You did that in front of the world, which is why I feel he getting condemned as harshly as he is. If it would have happened backstage, people wouldn't have reacted the way they have too.
Mm-hmm. I do feel like this is like kind of a really interesting like moment in cancel culture history. Because usually when we have moments like this, it's kind of like, you either on one side of the conversation or not. This is kind of one of these conversations where, like, you kind of have people 50-50 on this. Or at least I'm seeing that. What y'all feel?
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. I'm telling you, I'm on the other side of the fence. I was with Will 100% of the time when he walked on stage all nonchalantly. I'm like, what his name? Chris Rock. He ain't about to go how you think it is. But he had that pimp walk. You seen the backhand laying down. Just so slightly. He walked in, slapped the taste out of his mouth, walked out very smooth. I couldn't lie. The pimping me loved it. It loved it. But
it's the pimping you, Jay, and the married man in you.
The married man matter of fact, married man will say that's a good job. You defended your wife. But the recent things that came out about the whole Jada situation make it kind of tough for him right now. I feel sorry for my boy.
Mm-hmm. I agree with the slap. He should look. I'm gonna tell you. Look, I think he should have slapped him. I'm gonna be real. I think he should have slapped him, but he should have slapped that man backstage, bro. Because look.
I actually agree with that.
The way he slapped him in front of them people, bro. I don't know if y'all see like everybody's reaction to when it happened. But, bro, it just shocked people. It did. What made it worse wasn't even the slap. It was how he was cussing at Chris Rock after. Because it's like, you seen his face laughing when Chris Rock made the alopecia joke. Did you see his face after he slapped Chris Rock? Like, bro, that's like two completely different people.
The look did it.
Yeah, that's
the look did it.
Bro, I'm
yeah, I agree. See, what I'm curious to see now, after y'all told me about the comments that happened when Jada was like, I don't need nobody to defend me. I'm curious how it's going to happen because cancel culture was not on Will Smith back for the most part after him slapped. Most people felt like he was justified. But I wonder if it's going to change the narrative after she made these comments. Are people going to flip on Will Smith or are they going to stay with him? I'm really curious.
I think they're going to flip on the couple entirely, Will and Jada. They would have flipped on Will for violence in public and Jada because you ain't standing beside your man. Both of them get canceled.
I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all because I don't know if y'all seen it. Chris Rock brother trying to push the Academy to have that man Oscar took back from him. Like he doing a real hardcore push.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
And I ain't gonna lie, you mess around, if you get that to happen, And then he has to deal with that Oscar being taken away, which he has worked his entire career to get, because he was sitting up here defending his woman that said she don't want to be defended. Oh, man. Couldn't have been me. Couldn't have been me. I'll be getting ready to catch.
Easy. yeah, hold right there, boy.
Go ahead and tell you, boy, I would have lost myself.
Alright, easy way to solve it: put Chris Rock, Will Smith in the ring, put $2 million on the table, box it out. I bet they both be happy at the end of the day.
Be like the Rolling Stone. They squabbling.
Couldn't have been me. I swear to God, it couldn't have been me.
Oh man. But like I said, I think this is just like an important thing to touch on because of how timely this event is. But I feel like it really is going to coincide with our topic is about cancel culture as a whole. Because let's talk about celebrities and when it comes to celebrities versus cancel culture, right? So we already just talked about Will Smith because that's pretty recent, right? So let's talk about this. Like or at least I thought it was always really interesting how cancel culture has kind of evolved over the years because it's really just based on society and it's almost just like a big popularity contest, right? Prime example. Like, don't hate me when I bring this up, Mr. Robert Kelly. Rob. Listen, bro. Look, I'm going to preface by saying this. R. Kelly deserved to be in prison for everything he did. He was a sick person. But at the same time, we ain't going to act like when in the 90s, bro, he wasn't up here on TV, when Twinsy with Aaliyah and everybody just looked away from that. We can act like when that P tape happened. That he was, as soon as he got acquitted, bro, everybody was stepping in the name of love after that. And we still lost it.
Still stepping. Go to a wedding, I bet you're stepping.
You just may not record yourself doing that no more. And, like I say, I feel like R. Kelly got messed up more by the times changing versus him actually doing something wrong. Because, like I said, he was doing the same thing for the most part. And then as society changed around him, then he got caught up. And he wasn't as relevant. Even though his music was still being played, he just wasn't in that spotlight no more, so it was really easy to catch up to.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You don't have any comment?
Yeah. But he was doing stuff wrong, but at the time he was just so big society. He's a superstar. He can do what he wanted at the time. But as he got older, his music wasn't hitting the same. Folks forgot about him. They started looking back into his past and like, oh, that was wrong. Let's put him on trial for it now, or let's crucify him for it now. That's kind of that was the movement at the time.
I feel like he kind of got caught up in that whole swirl of like the sexual allegation case because you had his going on. You had, what's his name? It's Harvey Weinstein. You had Bill Cosby. They started talking about Jeffrey Epstein at the time. Like, it's one of them cases too where also you had like parents of these adults that he was dealing with at the time coming out talking about stuff. And when you have a whole bunch of cases coming up, you got the whole thing where like where there's smoke, there's fire. Like everybody ain't lying about it, and that's kind of how he got swung up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's funny you bring up like the sexual allegation because like the next example I want to bring up was Chris Brown, right? Because let's talk about the whole Rihanna situation when that happened. Was Chris wrong? Yeah, but we can't act like that situation ain't pretty much taint everything that he went through from there on out. Because what happened with those recent allegations when that woman was lying on him, what were you seeing in the streets pretty much? Of course, Chris did it. Of course he did, because it was like what he did to Rihanna. Like I said, but when he when he proved himself innocent, it was just crickets, bro. And I'm a big proponent, at least gonna be consistent, bro. If you're gonna disrespect me, your apology need to be as loud as your disrespect. No comment. On that.
No. That's human nature, man. We'll insult folks to death when it comes to apologize. We sometimes find it hard to do so. And in the whole Chris Brown situation and Rihanna, I ain't gonna lie, when the allegation first came out, I thought he did it. I ain't gonna lie, but I ain't on social media like that, so I ain't posting that. But just looking back on that whole Rihanna case and the parallels it had to it, at the time, well, in the public viewpoint, people think Chris Brown is such a big celebrity, he think he can get away with anything. That's why we want something wrong to happen so we can persecute him for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I'll say is this. I feel like that whole Rihanna situation, it happened. He served his time for it. He's been condemned for it. The more information that came out about it, yes, 100 million, whatever kind of percent you want to put on it, Chris was wrong. But both sides played a part in how that whole thing unfolded. But with Chris is running into an issue too where I feel like he gonna get caught up like how this whole situation with Trey Songz is, where you keep having allegations pop up. You're going to immediately have somebody where everybody's not lying. You're going to eventually have one that's true. So hopefully with Chris, he got 2 kids now. He got a girl, I think. Get your family, settle down, and just chill out.
Yeah, man, because like even though, like I said, it take a lot for me to care about what happens to celebrities, because like, I mean, I'd rather be, out here wiping my tears with millions than not. But we can all agree, though, when it comes to being in the public eye, even if you're not a celebrity, bro, it is just a battle against the court of public opinion, right? And one of the next points I wanted to bring to y'all was like, we were talking about, even just like in our past and about this, about, what happened with R. Kelly, what happened with Will Smith, what happened with Chris Brown and stuff like that. We can all admit that if you bring in some kind of value, whether it be real or perceived, you can skirt past some stuff when it comes to getting canceled. If you an athlete or a musician, let you be hot at the moment, you can get past some stuff.
Yeah, that's very true.
Kill skirted away for so long. Look, the whole thing. Look, just to be honest. Look, they gonna use you until they can replace you. That's the whole thing with cancel culture. If you hide and you doing enough publicly, they're not gonna cancel you. They're gonna prolong it. They're gonna prolong it until you done calm down. You probably at home chilling. You done got comfortable, and that's where they're gonna bring everything back up. We see it all the time with artists, athletes. You got plenty of NFL athletes where if you look at their criminal background, you be like, why is he still playing? Why isn't he locked up? You can use Antonio Brown as a perfect example. Antonio Brown got hemmed up so many times doing some egregious things, but because he can play, he's going to be on somebody for you.
I just kind of do feel like, like it is kind of just one of those parts about life that, it ain't going to be fair. And rules only apply to people, who can't afford to pretty much skirt around it, whether that be by talent or by money. And, when you were talking about like just what kind of value you was bringing, I was just thinking about, that in the case of like, I know you gotta bring up the Trey Songz allegations, stuff like that. And again, I believe that, like you said, when there's smoke, there's fire. Like, I didn't even know all this was happening with him, but I know there was a bunch of people on social media at first before you started happening. A bunch of people coming out that was like, nah, he ain't doing that. He ain't doing it because they like Trey Songz, stuff like that. But even going back to, like I said, the Chris Brown thing like that, I do think people latched on to so much about it because, like, yeah, they wanted to just see. They wanted to believe at least that he had did it. But I do think people just enjoy controversy. And I think on just such big scale as we be connected so strongly through social media, it could be a really dangerous thing if that's all you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, especially now with how important social media gets to a lot of people's lives, even starting out with kids, which I don't approve of. I just feel like people get swammed up in trying to be in everybody else's business instead of just minding their own, bro. Like, social media and just a lot of people don't have a private life now, and like, I know as celebrities and such, your life ain't gonna be as private, but any little minuscule thing you do is gonna get put out there, whether it's good or it's bad. And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna promote the bad before they promote the good.
Yeah, the bad would catch headlines. Anything good, you just don't see it in the news, anything. So if it's bad, they'd rather put that story out so they can get more views and, spread their influence. But talking about that Trey Songz case, before we move off of that, parallel that was that T.I. and Tiny case, when all those allegations started popping up about them. And one thing I noticed is, in order to hem somebody up, you don't even need proof. You just need 2 folks with the same story. and they can come up with it on the way to the courtroom. As long as they got the same story, somebody going on trial for it. That's about it.
Yeah, but just so far, just in regards to that situation alone, it seems like at least at the moment, nothing has been proven true in that situation. So, I mean, we'll see how it go. But I think they had 20-some cases pop up, 8.
Yeah, 20-some cases. I think 7 of the defendants preferred to go unknown, and then their whole case fell apart. So I think they was acquitted for all those. But what essentially was, I think we had some Instagram thoughts trying to get famous. I'm so sorry, but it's true. They messed around with T.I. and Tiny, got in a situation which they was comfortable with that night, but the next day or the following week they see, okay, they ain't taking me along to these trips or nothing like that. They start getting uncomfortable with it then, and they were like, okay, we gonna sue them now. But if you use your body to further your own agenda, that's on you.
But look, man, it's 2022, bro. You up here talking about accountability.
Ain't nobody got none of that.
You don't got none of that. You losing a lot of people on that. What you mean? But speaking of accountability, bro, like I'm thinking about like one of the cancel culture moments in history that happened. You know, when Kevin Hart lost that hosting gig, right? And I was kind of thinking about it, and I was just like, look, I understand that you up here saying stuff like that. Even though it was a joke and he a comedian, that's a whole nother conversation talking about what's the boundary about being a comedian nowadays. But like, I don't personally feel that, look, as long as you apologize and you speak on what happened, man, if it's that big of a deal, I don't feel like all the time it should be bleeding into your life in the present and you be losing some opportunity. Don't get me wrong, there's some times where it just needs to happen. But if it's just like I said something I may not have said and then you just lose your job off of that. But again, depending on what's being said, I want to preface that.
All I'm going to say is this, and I'm going to be blunt when I say it. When it comes to cancel culture, I'm tired of them pulling up some old shit to try to cancel somebody. Like, look, I understand. Like, certain topics, if you just go overboard with it, fine, cool, yada, yada, woo. But when you pulling up stuff from 5, 8, 10 years ago, and you condemning somebody in present time for it, but you wasn't condemning them then, it's like, what we doing? Especially, I'm like this right here. If it's something where somebody is harmed or whatever, I get it, fine. But if we sitting up here talking about feelings, man, come on, dog.
Yeah, that's true, man. Because my whole thing, again, like my biggest gripe with cancel culture is, again, it's just consistency. It's not applied consistently when it is being used. Because don't get me wrong, the idea of cancel culture, I actually stand by. It's just the application that's always gets messy. And it's just one of those things, man. Like, me as a normal person, bro, I'm just out here living my life, man. I don't want to be held to a standard of me at 16, bro. Let's be real. Everybody was doing some real dumb stuff at 16. So, you know, I'm a whole different person now 10 years later. You know, if I ever got asked about some stuff like that, I mean, yeah, I could speak on it, but again, it's like, you know, I'm a different person then, you know. And I just feel like, you know, not everybody who we want to draw out cancel culture like that, if it was applied to you, you wouldn't want that for yourself.
Yeah. I agree with that. So, in my mind, we shouldn't use today's values and standards and hold them against actions done in the past. Because just moral and ethical behavior 30 years before right now was tons different than it is right now. So stuff men was doing then is holistically unacceptable today. But in cancel culture, I see folks go back and look, oh, he did this in 1972. I was like, hold up, you weren't even born. How you going to be outraged about something you went to jail for? And they try to cancel them now.
Yeah. But I'm like this, though. Again, it's kind of like the nuance of this conversation where it's like, if you're talking about like, oh, I up here was spray painting walls when I was 16 and I'm trying to get a job 10 years later and you're holding that against me, I think that's stupid. But you talk about you was up here in the 60s up here and you was up here with one of those people in Alabama standing on court steps stopping black people from going to school. I kind of do feel like you need to get called out on that because that's two completely things. But I do feel like again that lack of consistency that we always try to take this broad brushstroke with cancel culture, and I feel like it's the easiest way to apply it, but it's the laziest way.
Even with what you just said, did with the whole telling black people not to go to school. Me personally, I feel like time gives people. It gives you no time for growth. So I'm not like this. I'm only gonna condemn you for that past thing if you still acting that way now. Like I'm like this. You can't completely just hold somebody past actions against them. Now, if you consistently doing it, that's a track record.
Time out. If we go back to 1960, and I got a 45-year-old man on there telling me I can't go. Well, back then they can't go to class. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if he's 62 today. Nah, that was wrong what you did back then, homeboy.
But what if now he has seen the error of his ways and he condemns his actions from back then? You still gonna hold that shit against him?
My boy, you gotta go to a non-profit volunteer organization before you come work for me. Nah.
Yeah, he said you gotta put some skin.
You gotta put some skin.
I get what y'all saying.
Yeah.
Come on now, dog.
What you mean?
I guess with me, I'm kind of more lax when it comes to things like that because I believe people can change, but how I am is more so.
Let me put an example out there. All right, you going to work one day. A guy cut you off, stop the truck, smash your window. You see that guy 3 years from now. You gonna forgive him? Like, yeah, forget all about that. You mighty quiet over there, my boy.
Fair point, because it's gonna be on site when I come. But see, that's a physical action. You know, that's something he did. You know.
So you saying somebody standing in your way, and pretty much in the 1960s, if a black man even touched a white man, that was assault. And so back then, he was in your way, and if he was waiting for you to touch him, the police probably come take you, haul y'all. You saying it's okay for him to do that now, and not facing the repercussions today?
I don't think he's trying to say that it's okay to do it now.
I feel
it's
like
more the fact of like
forget and forgive.
I ain't forgetting shit. Let's just go ahead and say that now. I'm gonna just say it just like that. I'm not forgetting shit, but I can forgive. I got enough in my heart to forgive. I ain't forgetting nothing. So if you still act that same way, I'm gonna treat you accordingly. But you know, with time, people can grow, bro. People can change. So I can learn to forgive. Just don't be acting the same way, dog.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But even this discourse we have right now, man, like I said, I feel like if it was more of this logical discourse when it came to conversations about we about to cancel so, it would probably get applied a little bit better, or it wouldn't get applied as much because, again, this is a conversation when we're talking about life. Life is not black and white. It's not clear cut, right? And, you know, and I feel like cancel culture, why it's so messy, is because it tries to simplify complexities of just existing, you know? Because again, like how y'all was saying, growth is usually inevitable if you allow it to happen. And sometimes it happens even if you don't want it to happen. But, you know, it's just kind of one of those things where, like, as we were talking about this case by case, most people ain't got time to do that. Because let's be real, what happens is that you get mad at such and such for this week. You try to cancel them. And then, you know, if it don't happen within a week or two, you know, you move on to your next person. And world keeps spinning. Good
example, Eminem. They try to cancel my boy Eminem. I don't care Eminem telling folks to put nails in their eyelids. He's still spitting.
Look, no, it's some people that you can't cancel.
Like
you're not gonna cancel Eminem. Same way they tried to cancel Dave Chappelle.
Mm-hmm. So if you start and become a celebrity through controversial stuff like Eminem or Dave Chappelle, I feel like, hey, that's their zone. That's what they're supposed to do. And it's hard to cancel somebody in there.
Yeah, especially if they made a following based off of that.
Like Eminem, he was kind of like the emo rap guy, but you know, he still, I don't know if he ain't the number one selling artist no more, but he was one of the biggest artists at one time.
Well, I feel like with people like Eminem, like Dave, and etc., it's not even people trying to trying to commit cancel culture on them because they're wrong. It's because they're making them uncomfortable. It's something that, like Eminem, like whenever he puts something out there, like whenever he says something, it's going to be a lot of people that don't want to hear it. It's going to be a lot of people he going to catch flack for what he said, but it's not flack because what he said is wrong. It's because it's making them uncomfortable for what they're used to. Go ahead.
So I don't understand how we can have Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion existing in the same space, but Eminem's not. We can't tolerate Eminem. But we all right with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion saying pop that pussy, drop that ass. Well, Eminem call somebody a bitch. Oh no, we gotta cancel him. Hold on, Cardi B telling you to call yourself a bitch. What?
Look.
All right, that's all.
We're just gonna say this. That's a whole subject about women and being biased that we're not gonna really get into right now. We're gonna say that for a later date.
Yeah, I feel you. I will go off the deep end just a tiny bit. Like I said, I'm hesitant to even bring this man up. But, when COVID hit and was it like the first few months after March 2020, man, everybody was bored. Everybody just on social media. And lo and behold, out of nowhere, a man named Kevin Samuels hit the field. I know. I'm gonna touch on it real quick because I ain't gonna. There's ain't even about that. But I was talking about this cancel culture. We watched in real time as this man went from nobody to somebody in the course of a night. And when I try to explain how stupid cancel culture could be sometimes, it's not about me agreeing or disagreeing with what that man talked about. It's the fact that all you had to do, in my opinion, was just ignore him. And he probably wouldn't have blew up that fast. He started growing as soon as the outrage got there. It's even there's certain people though, I really feel that they use cancel culture for business purposes, and they really want to, expedite their ascent on whatever platform they use by being controversial. That's their whole thing. Like I said, Kevin Samuels, I feel like has been doing that, and people just been buying into it nonstop because how dare he say that? How dare he say that? How dare he say it? If you really got a problem, in my opinion, just flip the channel, man. It costs you nothing. Even I was explaining to my coworkers about Lil Nas X that people be forgetting that before he was doing the music and everything, he was an internet troll. Controversy was his life. That's what he did. So when he switched over to a different medium and just enacted the same stuff he was already doing, people couldn't stand it. But again, any publicity was good publicity. And he's a master at that. He gets it. And again, people have to be smarter than it's like the carrot on a stick. Don't fall for it if you really want to just don't want people to have a platform. The more you interact, it adds up.
Because you can sit up here and you can talk about how, Old Town Road came out. Old Town Road was a hit. It was a bop. I can admit that. Mm-hmm. It was a bop.
You can't act like you ain't had the hood.
Look, that was the time with the country trap music.
Boy, that was a wild time. I ain't gonna lie. That was a wild time.
It eventually died down. He sit up here. He dropped the album. It came out. It was doing okay. He sitting up here. He told us, "Yeah, it's a secret on my album. Y'all want y'all to find out." And then when that happened, that's when he came out. He expressed his sexuality, and you had with that whole situation, you had a lot of people trying to condemn him for that. With the whole thing now, with him coming out as being gay, which is perfectly fine. You had people trying to cancel him for expressing himself. Look, with today's time, let people be themselves. Don't sit up here and try to condemn them because it's something that you're not used to. Everybody is different. Everybody's not the same person. Let that man be himself.
But I also think it's kind of cool that you brought that up though, because people when you think about cancel culture as a construct, it's so rooted in just societal norms and popularity that when he was just Lil Nas X, the cowboy rapper, everybody loved him. But then when he became a Lil Nas X that we know today, then people want to act like, oh, well, I wasn't rocking with his music like that. It was almost the same thing like with Frank Ocean before he came out as Ba. That I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like, look, Channel Orange, goated, bro. I listen to that all the time. Pink Matter, favorite song. I did not care that Frank Ocean came out as Ba. What does that have to do with that man music?
Exact point.
But I remember being in was it high school, I think, when Channel Orange first came out, that people was up here acting like they wasn't singing to Thinking About You with their heart and soul. Then he come out talking about, oh, I'm bisexual. And everybody like, well, man, I can't sing that song no more. Why not, man? You was enjoying yourself. It don't mean nothing on you,
exactly.
Bro.
Like, bro, like, it's the same thing ended up happening with Old Town Road. It's like, as soon as he came out as being gay, you got everybody want to sit up here and condemn him like he did something also wrong. That man ain't doing nothing but being himself and letting himself be known to the world. What is the problem with it?
And I do think that's like one of the biggest things that's like, that can combat cancel culture when it comes to things, bro, is being 100% authentic about yourself. Because I believe, like I said, Lil Nas X showed that they wasn't trying to cancel Frank Ocean, but again, like the people trying to be, weird about his music after he came out and stuff like that. I think even Dave Chappelle, to an extent, about like whether you agree or disagree with what these people's stances are, they're being true to themselves as far as we know, till they tell us otherwise. Because they're just people at the end of the day. We only know what they give us, right? But I think it's like a nice transition into like one of the last points I want to talk to you about. And again, it's gonna be a little bit out there, but I kind of called this point, in more the sense of like, when I was young, I looked at life in shades of black and white. But the older I got, I realized that the world was more shades of gray, right? And what I mean by that is that I feel like people are really, really guilty of falling into this trap of trying to be like, well, if I don't stand for this, that means I'm automatically against that. And that's not true. Two things can be true at the same time, right? And I feel like a real big danger of cancel culture, if left unchecked and people don't really start having these talks like we're having and being respectful about it too. Because we don't agree with everything we say all the time, but we come at each other with a place of respect, right? That I feel that we're going to be able to lose the ability to determine nuance in conversations. Those little complexities that riddle all of our lives on a daily basis. And I feel like when you get polarized and they're like, well, you got to be on this side of the conversation, or you mean that, or you got to be on this side of the conversation, or you hate these kind of people. That is a very simplistic way of looking at life. And I personally feel it's going to put you behind the 8 ball almost every time.
Yep. An example of being nuanced and, having open discussion was when America tried to cancel Terry Crews for not speaking on Gabrielle Union case. And when he did finally say something, it wasn't what folks wanted to hear. So they got mad at him about that. He can only speak from his point, from what he sees. He can't speak for somebody else, and folks got mad because, oh, you ain't have her back. But y'all was mad at him when he wasn't saying it as well. So that was a lose-lose for him. But I'm glad he didn't get canceled after that. But if they took time to look and study, okay, he probably didn't go through the same issues Gabrielle did. He's a totally different person. We would have never got to that stage.
Well, for me, my whole thoughts on it is that you have a lot of people, they can't handle opinions outside of their own, whether it's, I'm not even going to say a better opinion, but a more reasonable opinion. Yeah, just different.
It's just different, man.
It's like I feel like a lot of people have the mindset where it's either their way or the highway. So a lot of times when you sit up here, you have, like Jay just said, the whole people's opinions on the Gabrielle Union Terry Crews situation. Just because you feel he should say something or you feel he shouldn't say something, it's up to that man what he want to do at the end of the day. Your opinion don't matter for real. Let that man do what he want to do.
And just to piggyback on that, man, I think it do come from a place of entitlement, man, because I feel like a lot of people can't handle being wrong in certain situations because, I think it's like a domino effect in the mind. Like, if I'm wrong about this, what else am I wrong about? And sometimes that can lead you to a real, real deep, like discussion with yourself that some people I really just feel like don't want to have. And, whether they have it or not is none of my business. But what is my business is that just because I didn't speak on something doesn't mean that I hate said group, said person just because that. Like, sometimes me just wanting to stay out of it, it's just that I just want to stay out of it. Maybe I don't know enough about the situation to even speak on it responsibly. I believe that's fair for most people. I do feel like most people in society just don't care what happened to other people sometimes. And I think that's okay. Everybody got enough going on as is that, I can't drop everything I'm doing for every crisis that you personally feel I should care about.
Yeah.
Like, man,
little Tim Hamster died. I don't give a fuck about little Tim Hamster. Oh, sorry.
Like, look, all prayers up to little Tim, but fuck that hamster. Let's just be real about it. Look. Look, like my whole thing is like not every little thing that pops up needs your opinion on. You don't need to make a comment about little Tim's hamster or little Jenny's dog. Just let it be, bro. Everything not your business. If more people just minded their business, the world will be in a better state. U.S. is a prime example of that. Main reason we dealing with this U.S. and Russian shit now, but we ain't gonna talk.
Let's just saying. Move away from that.
Look. I'm gonna leave out one quote right here before we continue. Mind your damn business and you'll be happy.
Yeah, man. All I always wanted to say, man, is like when it comes to this, is that again, I know it's not easy to look at everything as isolated, as like case by case. But again, the danger of not doing that, in my opinion, becomes that if everything is a crisis, nothing is. Because if I'm supposed to worry about every little thing that happens, that just becomes your new normal. But again, if you just kind of doctor your responses to certain things, that when the real atrocities really happen, you be ready and up and at them. But if I'm up here fighting 10 in the past 2 days and a real one come out, I'm not going to have the energy to even put towards it.
Sitting up here fighting 10. Been fighting 10 little Timmys, then next thing you know, Batman pop up. I'm just saying.
I don't know to pick up on that one, my boy.
I think he just mean by level of severity.
Yeah, just level of severity. You sit up and fighting 10. I ain't talking about fighting 10 little Timmys for real now.
I was like, yeah, bro, you over here beat kids up on the playground. Batman,
look, I don't know if you seen that TikTok with that dude talking about how many little Timmys he thought he could fight at one time. Well, I ain't gonna say
I'm saying, Bush, you over making that comment in a vacuum, boy. That's gonna get you canceled, boy. It's gonna be nice knowing you.
How many fifth?
I already say TMZ.
How many fifth graders can you fight at one time? I think I could fight 100.
Yeah, man. It was like I said, man. It's just one of those things, bro. Like I said, people, like I said, we just gotta be very careful, man, what we put our energy to, man. Because, like, again, cancel culture, if done correctly, can really be good in showing that we're not willing to stand for certain things. But again, it's hard to make it right because you got so many individuals in the conversation, right? And we're just trying to all be on the same page. And of course, you know that more likely than not, that's not going to happen, man. But again, like, I just think that I don't know how it can happen, but we got to find some kind of way to be on the same accord, bro. Because, like, I can't be up here worried about, climate change right now. And I'm all super focused on climate change. But, like, you want me to worry about something on a smaller scale at the same time. I mean, it's possible to do it, but most people, you're going to be straining their attention thin. And you're going to start getting, like, really half-assed results on both ends of that spectrum if you're really trying to advocate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this right here. I feel like, just going back to what I said earlier, people just mind their business. Like, look, when it's wrong, I don't mind people condemning folks, trying to cancel them, yada, yada, woo. But I feel like a lot of people with cancel culture, and somebody might say I'm wrong for this, a lot of people just try to cancel people just because they don't outright like them. They didn't do anything to them. They might not even did anything wrong, but because they dislike that person, any little itty bitty thing pop up, they need to be canceled.
Yeah, but that's going back to say we were talking earlier about the lack of nuance, bro. You have no room to grow as a society because if we're just because again, I know it's again a very nuanced conversation, but how much atonement is really enough? It's subjective because everybody's gonna think that, like, let's just say if I'm up here driving down the street and I cause a car wreck and it ends up killing somebody. If I do my time in prison for that, some people will be like, oh, that's he did his time, he did his bid, he paid his debt to society. There will be some people be like, well, if he ain't die, we on some Thanos stuff, a soul for a soul. So again, it's real subjective because I do feel like there need to be a place in society where, like, if you mess up and it's not like you up here killing somebody or you're like abusing somebody or something like that, if it's just like on a smaller scale, you should have room to be able to speak your piece of your like what you need to say, take your lumps for it and be able to come back into society. Because you have to, like, you're ostracizing or trying to ostracize people for sometimes things that don't matter. And like, again, it can ruin people's lives.
Yeah.
We go ahead.
Since humanity first started, people been disagreeing. Since the first caveman wanted a piece of meat, the other said, "No, you can't have my piece of meat." Since Adam and Eve, when Adam told Eve, "Don't get that apple, Eve, so I'm gonna take a bite anyway." People been disagreeing since the start of time, but I just think social media had gave them a platform that a group of people's voice has more power than it did in the past. And celebrities are, basically people that live their lives on a social construct each day, whether through TV or online. And now you have an online community of people who basically they can just come up with anything and counsel a person because celebrity, that's their livelihood, fame. And fame is something gained through the media. So they have the power to counsel it. They are the jury, to be honest with you.
And like I said, it's just a court of public opinion, man. But I do think people be forgetting that just because you're the loudest person in the conversation don't mean you're right. I'll even go a step further. If everybody around you is like saying the same stuff and you ain't getting no kind of feedback about on the other side of that conversation, there's a good chance you may not be in the right conversation right now.
Just because the class,
because you trust me, you don't.
Just because the class say the answer to 2 + 2 is 5 don't mean it's right. That one guy, that one nerd gonna know it's 4, and when he said he gonna shake the whole class.
Like I said, you try to wheel something that's not right to be it right. And again, it's getting real scary because you're starting to see that happen a lot more and more in society where it's like, it's wrong, but like, because we got enough voices saying that it's not, it means it's not. Nah, it's still wrong though. You're just trying to make certain things acceptable. And that's a whole nother conversation about how scary that can get.
Man, you just got a lot of people where they're like, look, if we're going to be wrong together, and we'll deal with the outcome whenever it arrives.
But that's the thing, Boosie. Most people don't want to deal with the outcome.
No, they want it. I'm like this right here. They want to go hide behind them computer screens and them phone screens and the keyboards they've been typing on instead of dealing with it out in the open. But they'd rather condemn a celebrity real quick.
Because, like, my whole thing, bro, is like, I had a conversation today, man. I was just talking about, like, just internet culture in general, bro. I was like, I get it, but I don't get it. Because it's like one of those things, like, all three of us are men, right? As much as we talk shit to each other and may disagree, there is a level of respect between the three of us that we understand that if we get too rowdy, it's going to be hands eventually. Yeah. We can't just say what we want to say to each other. We have a baseline threat of violence amongst the three of us because that's just us as men. But when you get behind a computer screen, that threat of violence is gone. You ain't worried about that. If shit get too hot, deactivate your account.
Yeah, that threat now is basically
make a new one.
Hacking somebody's account. That's the threat now.
Yeah.
Like I said, you could deactivate it, make a burner account like KD, and go right back into it.
All right.
And again, like I said, you're removing consequences from stuff because, like I said, I really do feel like we as society, we get a little bit too comfortable with playing with people's lives and then expecting no consequence for doing it. And, like I said, I feel like anything, bro, it could be a drug because you up here playing judge, jury, and executioner and stuff like that. But like I said earlier in our talk, if you was on the stand, you wouldn't want those same kind of rules drawn out you because you know they ain't right.
Man, that just goes part of dealing with society. People can't take what they dishing out. It's that simple. That's all it is. Because it's like this right here. I can sit up here, I can condemn and bash and send hate speech to somebody all day. But as soon as they send it at me, all hell finna break loose. I'm gonna need the NAACP to stand up. I'm gonna need y'all to get somebody from the White House. I need y'all to protect me. But you weren't doing all that shit when you was up here condemning such and such on social media the other day. Sitting up here bashing them, talking about their cousin, talking about little Timmy.
Goddamn boy, Timmy's getting so much hate this podcast. We're gonna keep moving though. But man, it's just one of those things, man. And like, especially because, like I said, you see mostly the cancel culture on the internet, bro. I just think people be forgetting, bro. The internet never forget. Like, just because you're using the internet to attack somebody doesn't mean that 2 weeks from now you could be on the receiving end for some comments you say. Like, bro, we see it all the time. Like, me and you, Bruce, we be on TikTok, bro. Say some wild shit on TikTok if you want to, bro. Get ratio quick.
What?
They deleted their account. Think it's gone. Shit, someone done stitched it. You still out there?
We got you, my boy. Mm-hmm. Bro, like, folks be breaking up old shit too much on social media. Like, look, this is really recent, but my boy Uzi, he done got hemmed up. His girl done broke up with him about some shit he said in 2015.
They canceled the whole relationship. Uzi out here like, what happened?
Look, not even that. It's like, I ain't even know you in 2015.
Exactly. Man, like I said, bro, it's just weird times, man. Like I said, it's so subjective, bro. It applies differently to everybody, man. It's just one of them things, bro. It's part of life, man. I feel like as time goes on, hopefully we'll be able to navigate it better as a society, bro. But I think right now it's just so raw because it's not new, but it's new enough.
This is the thing that I feel like affects it a lot. It's new, and it's also younger people experiences. Because you got to think about it. When we was kids, bro, we didn't get on social media nothing until 14, 15, even if
14, 15.
Even if most of us got on then. But like, you got to think about it now, bro. Like, you got 5, 6, 7-year-old kids got YouTube and TikTok accounts. They got their own Instagrams. Like, I feel like kids be getting exposed to this shit too early. And I just feel like I feel like it's affecting the generation that's coming up now. And I feel like if we don't fix this whole social media aspect and try to rein it in something, it's going to affect the generations coming up, bro. And social media can take a lot out of people, especially on the mental aspect.
Mm-hmm. Like, I kind of feel that, or at least I'm hoping that us as millennials, as we start getting into like our 30s and 40s, and we're still be on social media, if social media is a thing around that time, that hopefully the conversation matures because most of us done got older. I'm hoping that, we all know some grown ass kids that's in their 50s right now. But, we can hope for the best because, I mean, how I be trying to explain, to my coworkers every now and then about the dangers of like social media on young people, you see nothing but highlights with zero context. And, it's like, even I was guilty of it to a little bit where it's like, I thought I was supposed to be up here driving Lamborghinis by 22.
Oh, God.
Because I was seeing it on social media, man. But again, as you got older, of course, that's not true. I mean, it can happen for some people, but if that's going to be the case for most people, nah. And that's okay, right? You're straight. But, you're up here being a young person, you could base your life around that. And even again, going back to how cancel culture is, that if you're up here teaching people that it's only right and wrong and no kind of in between on stuff like that, you're going to get a really, really polarized society, or more polarized than we have now, potentially.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, bro.
Yeah. But, been interesting talks, man. I've enjoyed the discourse. It's been a fun time. Y'all have any closing thoughts?
Man, all I'm gonna say is this. It's like, I feel like for society to grow and move forward, we gotta take less time being on social media trying to condemn folks and spend more time. If you're gonna be on social media, send positive messages. Try to uplift folks. Now, if you got somebody that's wrong, put the information out there. Don't sit up here and try to condemn. Put the information out there if it's true. Don't be up here spreading shit like DJ Academics. Don't be up here just spreading stuff. But if they're wrong, put the information out there. Let the world decide. But don't sit up here and just condemn somebody just because you don't like them, or because they said something about your favorite food and you're like, oh no, they don't like that, so I don't like them. Just try to guide social media the right way. That's the best advice I can give you, especially for the future kids.
My advice: put down social media. Go back outside. Enjoy nature. Yeah, but now, real deal. We need to go back to understanding that it's okay to disagree and stop being so sensitive to everything. I don't understand how we came out of 2000s with Eminem and artists like that, and now we're in today's age where we listen to some stuff that the older generation don't find appealing, but we okay with that. But if we go back and listen to slave music, it's messed up. I just don't understand that.
Yeah, I got you. Strong word from Jay. Remember, it's okay to disagree and go touch some grass sometimes. Remember that.
Stop being soft. Stop being soft.
And I guess just on my point, man, it's like, look, I just need people to remember that one of the things that makes society cool is that we have diverse thoughts. Just because somebody doesn't think the same way as you doesn't mean they're bad. It's okay, because I promise you, if you start having these discussions like the three of us are having, you realize there's a lot more that's the same with all of us than there's different. And the whole thing that makes you think that, the left side of this conversation is way different than the right, it's just perception, man. You come to the middle sometimes, you learn some things. But with that being said, I'd like to thank everybody for joining today's podcast. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification button. Catch you next time.
Deuce.
Peace.
Deuce, baby.